7 p.m.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, too good to be true. Fake realtors take advantage of desperate house seekers. Part 1 of a CVM original renting ruse. Heartless. Westmoreland welder in custody after torturing deceased spouse for days. And the businessman urges government to provide stimulus for small business operators. It's Monday, so we'll have our Small Biz Big Dreams feature with Kevin Black. And later in sports, West Indies lose third test against New Zealand. It's Monday, December 22. Good evening and welcome to CVM News at 7. I'm Giovanni Dennis. A woman who was rescued in critical condition from a house in Cornwall Mountain, Westmoreland, has died from her injuries. Investigators say Natalie Gordon, who was beaten and tortured by her boyfriend for several days. More in this report from Drissel Mills.
Natalie Gordon of White House, Westmoreland, pictured here, died last Friday after being viciously attacked by her partner, 43-year-old welder Colin James. Residents alerted police last Monday after the woman had not been seen for several days. She was rescued in critical condition from a house in the Cornwall Mountain community. Investigators say Miss Gordon was burnt, beaten and tortured for several days. She was taken to hospital but succumbed to her injuries while undergoing treatment. Her partner, who was initially charged with unlawful wounding and assault occasioning actual bodily harm, is expected to face murder charges pending a post-mortem. Abigail Malcolm is caretaker for the Cornwall Mountain Division.
One instance, the police went, and to be honest with you, I don't think she was ever in her right frame of mind due to the abuse. So it's like talking to her, you're not getting anything much. But it was a couple of days ago that they took her to the hospital where she was burned badly. She was beaten for days or for weeks or continuous beating for months. And I am saying that persons in the area would have known of the case. They would have called me on numerous occasions and I would have tried my best to help this young lady. Unfortunately, she succumbed to her injury. And I want to say that abuse against women is wrong.
Ms. Malcolm says authorities need to respond quicker to cases of domestic violence, noting separate incident where she had first-hand experience with delayed response time.
It was Saturday also that I got numerous phone calls of a lady on the road naked in Phoenix Park, and when I drove there she was naked. She had on no clothes. I called the police station. They said the patrol was on its way, and up until I took her to the hospital myself, wrapped her in a raincoat, took her to the hospital to seek medical attention. Up until then, no police arrived on the scene.
She's calling for more to be done to reduce domestic violence.
I'm asking the necessary authorities, when you go to areas like these and visit houses like these, try to intervene as much as you can before it is too late.
Research by the United Nations indicate around 27.8% of women report having experienced physical and/or sexual violence by a partner at some point in Jamaica. Reported cases of domestic violence to the police nearly doubled over the last 5 years. Giselle Mills reporting for CVM News.
Still in Westmoreland, residents of Frome in the parish are criticizing authorities for not doing enough to warn road users of a breakaway along the road caused by Melissa. They say caution tape placed over the damaged roadway is not enough to prevent accidents and preserve lives. This after a fatal accident last week. Carla Ramdeen has the details.
29-year-old Christopher Swagger Richards of Brown Yard was found dead on Thursday in the Ricketts River, a day after relatives reported him missing. The police say Richards was heading home from Grange Hill Wednesday night when he drove over the road breakaway in Frome and fell into the stream below. One resident, Parnell Vassell, described what he heard about the incident.
Like somebody hit the tail of his bike and he crashed into the bridge because the bike was somewhere here and nobody couldn't find him. So then 2.5 days after, somebody see him there, down in the gully there.
Mr. Vassell explains that he tried to take action while waiting for the authorities to carry out repairs.
It's very dangerous. So me and my brother put a stone there. And like some people don't like it, so they move the stone. We put the stone there waiting on the authorities to come and do something like this. And this is when it's happening now, when after a man died. This should have been done a long time ago.
Now, the only warning marking the damaged roadway is a strip of caution tape. Residents say this is not enough and they feel their concerns have been ignored.
The authorities don't seem to take the people in the area serious or important. So maybe that's why they don't care.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
Now, Carla Ramdeen now joins us live on set. Carla, you have been speaking with the National Works Agency. What have you been hearing?
Yes, Giovanni. Manager of Communications and Customer Service, Stephen Shaw, told us that the road in Ricketts River, Westmoreland, is one of many affected by Hurricane Melissa. Mr. Shaw says most of the dangerous sections have been blocked off by the National Works Agency, but he notes there are not adequate funding to fix all areas severely damaged immediately.
All right, Carla, thank you so much for that. And of course, we'll continue tracking that story and try to get some comment from Stephen Shaw on the record. In other news, signs of economic life is slowly returning to Black River St. Elizabeth after it was declared ground zero following Melissa. The Chamber of Commerce says the economic engine of the parish capital is once again throttling. This following the reopening of the Sagicor Bank recently. Crystal Williams reports.
The Sagicor Bank in Black River, St. Elizabeth was severely damaged by Hurricane Melissa in October. On Friday, the Sagicor Bank reopened the branch, bringing relief and renewed hope to residents who depend on it for banking services. Attorney at law and president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, St. Elizabeth chapter, Cadian Myers Brown, says the economic engine of the capital is back in full swing.
The commerce is now alive and well again in Black River. The membership have been asking questions, and not only the membership, but persons, regular citizens within the space have always been asking, when is the bank coming back? And Sagicor has shown us that resilience, that they're not leaving us.
Branch manager Velma Gunter says the new branch was well received as customers from the area are now able to access banking services in their constituency.
The feedback is so heartwarming. Just to hear our community members showing appreciation. I'm so happy you're here. I just can't take the travel to Mandeville or Savlamar. And this is the best thing that could have ever happened to Black River since the hurricane.
Chief Executive Officer of Sagicor Bank Jamaica, Shorville Johnson Cunningham, says this branch is integral to the parish because it was once the only bank in and around Black River.
Some years ago, we ended up being the only bank that stayed in Black River. And when I say the only bank that stayed, it means that we still have team members here because we believe in the community. We totally understand that for the community to grow, we have to be here. So we're saying to all the people in Black River, whether you're clients or not our clients, come in and speak to us.
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
Scarce produce and rising costs, small businesses in Kingston are now feeling the ripple effects of Hurricane Melissa, even though the Category 5 system made landfall in western Jamaica. Disruptions to supplies and lost products are now threatening operations, especially now in the Christmas season. As Akeem Orrit now reports, one reporter is urging the government to provide a stimulus package for small businesses.
Though Hurricane Melissa battered western Jamaica, business operators in the corporate area say the storm's impact has traveled far beyond the west. For food-based businesses especially, the disruption to farming communities has translated into higher operating costs.
The ground provision, that's the main thing that is giving a rough challenge right now. Because at the end of the day, you want the customer to come at the restaurant and pleased with what they're getting. And then on top of it, it's so challenging because you can't even raise the price. You can't even raise, I wouldn't even say to an extent, but you can't even raise the price because there's so many competitors around. And the moment you go even $50 or $100 up, they're going to drift.
For some creative entrepreneurs, the damage has forced difficult decisions. Creative director at Eccentric Source Center, Tanya Collins, says her company's best-selling product has been pulled from the market after raw materials from the West were damaged by the storm.
We partner with local manufacturers that are located in St. Elizabeth. And one of the issues that we're having now is that we have to pull back our action after 2 years of sourcing and producing and getting it right where we needed it. We have to stop because we don't use international products, right? So it's all agriculture from Jamaica, that means that the corn is no longer available at this moment.
But amid the challenges, there was a show of support and resilience. Several affected small businesses were able to showcase their products at the Bignell Law Commercial Center in Halfway Tree after proprietor Von Bignell opened the space to them free of cost. Bignell says, while large companies may rebound quickly, small businesses often struggle to survive after disasters.
Larger businesses are better able to absorb shocks because of insurance and proper reserve, but small businesses are the backbone of the economy. The barber, when the farmer buys fertilizer, when he sells his goods, he goes back to the farm store again, and that money is circulated. That same barber will come to a place like this and spend, and the recipients of that money, people from the Christmas village, they are going to the supermarket tomorrow morning, they are going to the regular markets, and that kind of money, the money from the small business, almost 100% is circulated. None of that money is repatriated from the country.
Bignell is urging the authorities to implement stimulus measures to help small businesses recover and remain sustainable in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa.
It's important, and the government assists so many persons. Many persons here are descendants of slaves. We came from nothing, and many of us, most of us by and large, still have nothing. And something like a hurricane would really devastate us completely. Large corporations can recover. They have reserves, they have insurance. I even know of attorneys who have extreme difficulty difficulties in building back. So it's a dire situation, and it requires gifts. It requires subsidies from government, and it requires tremendous effort on the part of government to get to build back small businesses. It's easier to rebuild a small business than to create one from scratch.
As business owners brace for an uncertain recovery, many say timely intervention could mean the difference between survival and closure. Reporting for CVM News, I'm Akeem Oret.
Thanks, Akeem, and we head to a short break here on CVM News at 7, but stay with us. More when we come back.
People, did you know reducing the use of cash at toll locations makes it safer for everyone involved? Did you also know that using cash costs more? That's why TransJam Highways has a target of having 80% of all trips on the highway be made through the T-tag lane by 2028. By using the T-tag, you avoid the use of cash at the toll plazas and you move quicker through the T-tag express lane. And if for Class 1 and Class 2, you actually pay cheaper toll rates. So use the T-tag lane every time.
Make smart money moves like a winner and use your T-tag every time.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smile. Gift a smile. Gift a smile. Gift a smile. Digicel is gifting smiles this season. 64 lucky customers will win $250,000 cash, and the third two getting $50,000 in groceries. You can also win Samsung tablets, furniture vouchers, and so much more. Best part, you can keep your prize, or we give all our partners to someone who really needs a smile. This season isn't just about winning, it's about making sure everybody good. Cash Digital in your community, bringing gifts and good cheer to keep you smiling into the new year. Peace out, making it easier for you to order your favorite pizzas, no waste no time. So you can do it online.
Now you can order Pizza Hut online at pizzahutjamaica.com or through WhatsApp at 876-837-4488. Pizza Hut, now that's
All you want for Christmas is your two-front seat, your two-front seat, your two-front seat. At Jamaica Pegasus, your two-front seat for Christmas comedy cook-off.
Friday, December 26th at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Gates open 6 p.m. Showtime 7:30 sharp. Tickets at SpurOpen.com. Info 876-542-4160. Part proceeds support hurricane relief. Christmas comedy cook-off. Sponsored by KFC and Jamaica
At
Pegasus.
Jamaica Pegasus, your two-front seat for Christmas comedy.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. A Westmoreland mother is seeking shelter after being displaced from a temporary accommodation since Hurricane Melissa left her and her children homeless. Amoy Harriet has her story.
We have nothing left, nothing. Melissa took everything. I have nothing, no roof. This is the best I can do.
Jadine Brown is a single mother from Hartford in Westmoreland. This is where she and her two children have been sleeping the past few nights. Her house was destroyed during Hurricane Melissa. Now, after the storm, Jadine sought shelter at her neighbor's house, but says she was later asked to leave.
I used to work in a calling center industry. I have no house. I haven't changed my clothes since the last couple of days. See them, my daughter lose everything. We just have people giving out things and they say no. You guys can't get, and they don't know that tonight this is where we're sleeping. Somebody used to put us up and then put us out. Today said there's no more place for us to stay. The person said if you leave in place, he want to fix you up. Me jealous coming on, nothing to fix.
She says the hardest part has been watching her children struggle.
My son needs to go back to school January morning. I don't know where first center will come from.
Jadine is appealing for help.
Food food. We have nothing to eat. We lose everything. Not even a piece of food. Can I raise up a one-room house? Never. I don't have any material. I don't have nothing. I have not even first cent to me name. Anybody out there that can see this video, I help a single mother who have no place to sleep, no clothes to me penny them here. We no bed from when, please help us.
Now, anyone who would like to assist Jadine Brown and her children can contact her at 876-548-3596. Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
To a CVM News follow-up now, there continues to be pushback to recommendations to decriminalize sex between minors up to 5 years apart in the child diversion bill. One expert is this evening warning that this suggestion by rights group Jamaicans for Justice could see a 19-year-old engaging in sexual relations with a 14-year-old on the minor's consent. He says this move could benefit gangs and also breed pedophilia. Nika Lewis reports.
Gangs are likely to exploit this recommendation, and it puts the victims in a direct line of fire for the gangs who abuse them. That's the conclusion drawn by criminologist and crime fighter Dr. Jason Mackay in response to the JFJ's proposed amendment to the child diversion bill, now under revision.
Well, the real issue here is that their new recommendation, in effect, is justifying pedophilia. What they're saying is that a 14-year-old can have sex with an adult who is up to 19 years old, and there is no legal consequence of it.
And what do you make of that?
I mean, that's pedophilia. You know, if you have sex with somebody under the age of consent and you're an adult, that's pedophilia, you know? So you can't, but by doing this and putting it in pretty words, statutory defense and no offense being committed and all of this dialogue, it really is just justifying an adult having sex with a minor. No, especially a minor as early as 14 years old. That's what makes it even more disturbing and disgusting.
The JFJ is seeking the decriminalization of consensual sex between minors. It recommends the introduction of a statutory defense where no offense occurs if two minors are 2 years apart and engaged in sexual relations. It goes further, however, to suggest that further defense be had for a 5-year difference if the activity is consensual and if there is no position of authority or dependency and where one partner is between 12 to 14 years old. This, it adds, is to balance protection. But Dr. Mackay reasons the victim would likely not be protected.
It's going to further the predatory behavior of the gangs, which this is the first victim of them is usually young women. Parents being forced to send their daughters to them, parents being afraid to report them when they take what they want. Because now the complainant has to get involved in the process and say it was non-consensual, when normally all law enforcement has to do is prove that it took place.
For Dr. Mackay, the ideal situation would be to leave the law as it now stands with case-by-case exceptions. He urges the government to be careful in how it alters the law much further.
I mean, there's no way, shape or form that I can see this makes any sense. I mean, even for JFJ, I find this one to be a long shot and very disturbing as to what they were really thinking. I mean, even the other suggestion that you could, the minors having the 2-year gap in age, you know, you can look into that and you can see the very negative side of it, and you can also see the plus side of it in terms of the courts getting involved and so on. But you have to be careful when you start to mess around with age of consent and creating scenarios which avoid the justice system, you know, because there's a reason the age of consent was moved from 14 to 16 many years ago. It is because there are decisions that take place, that need to take place before persons start to have sex. And it has gotten a lot worse from the 70s in respect of diseases and so on. So it has to be something it has to be a behavior that is under some degree of judicial control.
And we go back now to a previous report where our reporter Carla Ramdeen shared with us that Manager of Communications and Customer Service at the NWA, Stephen Shaw, said that the road in Ricketts River, Westmoreland is one of many affected by Hurricane Melissa. Here's what Mr. Shaw had said about that road.
What we are asking is for some amount of patience. We know that in areas where retaining structures are required to remake the embankments on which these roads have been built or had been built, those will take some time because the damage estimate, the preliminary estimate had been put at some $35 billion. That's not money that's available at the go to the National Works Agency. And so we have to now program all of these things in line with the funding availability. So the minimum that can be done, we are doing. We have reopened roads, we are cordoning off areas, and we are advising the public to exercise caution when traversing along these corridors and through these communities, especially in the context of the absence of electricity in some of these areas. Some of these roads are dark, and so if you are not aware of the space within which you are traveling, my encouragement is that persons driving along these roads are in these spaces, they should drive well within the legal speed limits and be careful in traversing these roads because, as I said, we have suffered some damage to the infrastructure in respect of the passage of Hurricane Melissa.
Jamaica could be among the first countries to benefit from the UN-backed Loss and Damage Fund, a global pool of money set up to help countries recover from climate disasters. The fund was agreed at during COP27, operationalized at COP28, and began accepting applications last week. Here's Amoy Harriet.
Jamaica knows all too well what loss and damage look like. Hurricane Melissa tore through the island, damaging homes, flooding communities, and leaving billions of dollars in losses in agriculture, infrastructure, and livelihoods. Help did come. Support from international partners, donor countries, and regional agencies. But on the ground, the reality was clear. It wasn't enough. Jamaica has applied for funding assistance from the UN-backed Funding for Loss and Damage, FRLD, a financial mechanism to help vulnerable developing countries recover from irreversible climate impacts by providing grants and loans for recovery and reconstruction.
We have called for the Loss and Damage Fund from the Paris Agreement was signed. We expected it would have happened a lot earlier.
Climate Change Minister Matthew Samuda says with over 70% of the population living close to the sea, the island remains especially vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, making access to the fund critical.
We didn't create this crisis. We didn't create a storm that had wind gusts measured over 250 miles an hour with 13-foot storm surges that cost lives. But we did submit projects to the international agencies with the remit to help us build resilience before this storm came. Some are 3 years into submission. Some of those projects would have saved lives. So for us, we're happy the Loss and Damage Fund is here. But the funds that are responsible for mitigation and adaptation need to catch up with you, Ibrahima. They need to do what they were intended to do.
Ibrahima Sheikh De Jong is executive director of the FRLD.
As of today, our fund has managed voluntary contribution to gather $800 million, way below what's needed. But the good news, half of that has already been released, showing at least that in the name of global solidarities, contributors are actually honoring their commitment by releasing the funding, because if they don't, we can't actually support Jamaica, we can't support Barbados, we can't support other countries as well.
Of that roughly $800 million pledged to the fund, the board has set aside $250 million for an initial pilot phase, available now as grants. Submissions for the fund are now being accepted until June 15 next year.
What we want to be is to mobilize predictable long-term financing so we can get to the 100 billion, 200 billions, so that we can spend less time on mobilizing money. We spend more time actually spending money so we can support the countries, because the more time we spend mobilizing money, is less time actually supporting those who need the money the most.
And we take another break here on CVM News at 7, but stay with us. Small biz, big dreams, and we come back.
Do you recognize the signs of dengue? Look out for these symptoms: high fever, severe headaches, joint and muscle pain, skin rash, nausea, and pain behind the eyes. If you experience these symptoms, rest, stay hydrated, and take paracetamol for pain relief. If symptoms persist beyond 3 days or worsen, such as persistent vomiting, severe abdominal pain, or difficulty breathing, seek medical attention immediately. Early treatment can save lives. Know the signs, act fast, together we can beat dengue. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness and PAHO.
Celebrate being together with a KFC Festive 9 bucket for $4,500. The time by KFC is
7:30 p.m.
This makes no sense, people. Why waste time in the manual lane when you can just breeze through the T-tag lane? Plus you pay a lower toll rate in the T-tag lane. You can easily get your T-tag from any toll collector. Just have to remember to top up by adding funds on the My T-tag app or by WhatsApp.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you will waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time.
Peace out, making it easier for you to order your favorite pizzas. No waste no time, so you can do it online.
Now you can order Pizza Hut online at pizzahutjamaica.com or through WhatsApp at 876-837-4488.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Tonight on Small Biz, Big Dreams, we meet Sandra, a fruit vendor in New Kingston who is blending hard work, faith, and fresh produce into a living. Our reporter Kevin Black has her story.
Tonight on Small Biz, Big Dreams, we're in the heart of New Kingston, where a simple fruit stall has blossomed into a daily source of nourishment, inspiration, and income for one determined woman. This is Small Biz, Big Dreams. Sandra operates her food stall in front of the John R. Wang supermarket in New Kingston. She maintains that her business grew from humble beginnings.
You know, say, I was running a shop first, and like some of my friends, them said them I go sell apple. And I said, me I come with you no come see you sell apple on the street. And I just saw like that we start out. With couple little small box, 3 unripe banana, little this, little that. I was at the NCB bank side, then me come right here at the supermarket gate, and from there to in here. So.
For Sandra, this fruit stall is more than a business. It's a daily commitment to health, honest work, and survival in a fast-paced corporate space. She says the office workers who stop by each day have become more than customers, their family.
Me come sell apple first, so me go through the market. People love pineapple, people love melon. So I'm making a fruit stall with our jelly, coconut water, oranges, guys are fruit, Jamaican fruits where people love. Lawyer, doctor, teacher, nurse, everybody. Out of the 100% people, I sell out 80 of them, 90 of them. Sometimes them say I'm miserable, but you know, I'm a friend them.
Sandra says faith, discipline, and her loyal customers keep her pushing forward, one serving at a time.
A little can lead you to a big thing. The other day, a lady come right there, so in a full now, and when a lady look at my stall, he said, you alone have this big stall? He said, Mom, I am coming from nothing to something. So I have almost 3 now. And you know, I usually put on the little grape box. I'm turn on the box with the 2 on a banana, the 2 little this, and start here.
Next week, we travel to St. Elizabeth to meet another forward-thinking Jamaican who's more than just a vendor, but tills the soil too. Until then, for Small Biz, Big Dreams, I'm Kevin Black.
And it's time for another break here on CVM News at 7, but stay with us. Sports with Jordan Fort is next.
Guy, I was surprised by my chronic illness diagnosis. I thought working out harder would fix it, but it wasn't enough. Now, my prescription meds are a part of my routine.
When I got my diagnosis, I really felt down and stopped spending time with the people I love. Then I decided not to let any disease get the best of me, and I'm committed to taking my meds as prescribed.
On time, every time.
No hesitation. Take your medication. A message from the NHF. NHF is here for health. NHF is here for you.